The front here, alright, to cross over for the dual battery.
Let's go in.
Well, it wobbles back and forth and it cracks the guard underneath.
We're just going over the cars, just doing a quick check over, and well, I thought I'd put the camera on because Anthony's a world of knowledge, and that'll encourage you to go over to 4x4 diesel and have a look because he's got everything on there, particularly about the Prado. But anyway, here's a little bit of a tip here. What have you got for us, Anthony?
So just a quick little comparison. This isn't perfect, this is a prototype bracket. But see, we've got nylock nuts here. They're nylon. You know what a nylock is? It's got like nylon in there, right? You can even see there's a bit sticking out there, right? It's at the top of the nut, which basically holds the nut. It can't vibrate loose. So nylock's what you want ideally on just about everything that could vibrate loose. Anything aftermarket, use a nylock where you can. I love nylocks, right? Now we haven't got them everywhere. I've got the standard genuine nuts and an extra nut for the factory bracket. For the people that say that's close, correct, it's a prototype, it's getting changed. I've made sure it is all rock solid secure. It's not going anywhere, it can't move, but let's give it a check anyway since we're out here. But should we go and have a look at the other battery and show what... See the support things, they're not sticking up, you're not going to cut yourself, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, working on the car. Yeah. The wing nuts aren't there, it's secured, the battery's, you know, the battery's secure, it's not moving. Let's go and have a look at this one.
Just going to go and have a look at mine. I'm putting it out there for you guys because I've got a bit of work to do when I get home.
The bonnet was just open because we changed the globe.
Yeah.
We did, didn't we?
We did. We did?
You had a fair crack at it.
I did. I did.
How long do you reckon you spent trying to get that globe in?
10 minutes. You did it in about 3.
3 minutes, you reckon that long?
Yeah, maybe. Not even.
30 seconds. Anyway. Right, globe's blown. We've got a new one in there. It's all
So
good.
we're just showing you something about...
But the bonnet's open again.
Yep.
And I saw this sticking up.
Yep.
And you've tightened these since.
Yep.
That was even higher. That really... These are not a bad idea of a bracket, the way they secured it there. They're a pain because every time we take these plastic covers off, it's in the way. And it's hard. It'd be good if someone come up with a really good... I reckon a good idea would be to put a riv nut in there. A battery bracket system that uses this as a support is awesome because the battery, it wobbles back and forth and it cracks the guard underneath. These long things, they need to be cut off. Wing nuts, gone. Nylocks can go on there. And they were quite, this is wobbling all over the place. We've already tightened it up before we started the video, so that's good. But see the difference with the wiring. I mean, this is just floating around, you know.
Yeah, the stickies come off.
And it's just... needs a tidy up.
If you tell me, mate, so I've got a bit of work to do when I get home.
Yeah.
I'll clean up.
Well, you can leave it like this, but this is risk it for the biscuit. You might be okay, you might not. I just hope you make it to the end of the trip. Have a look over on top of the Ezy-Jak valve.
No, I don't want to show them.
It's important.
I don't want to show you guys because, you know.
Well, look.
But here we go. I'm airing it all out here.
Over here. So the engine, diesel, vibration, this wiring. It's just sitting there, and take a zoom in look at that vacuum hose there. That is pretty much broken through now. See that? It's almost like a hole there. Right, okay. See that? It pretty well, you know, it's cactus. We're actually going to have to cut that off now, shorten it, because see, that's actually, we'll leave it for now, and when you get an engine light and things causing problems, then you know where to head to. So this is a really good example of a vehicle that hasn't been to 4x4 diesel, hasn't seen every single video to the end to avoid situation like that, because I'm not going to push down on that, that's just going to open that up. So look, I could be here picking on this for a while. There's a lot of issues here.
I'm happy to learn, mate, so go for it.
Well, we won't do it now because I've done it many times before in a video. We're going to hit the road.
Yep.
All this needs to be, keep it short. All this is not acceptable by Prado Hospital, Outback Toyota reliability standards. This all bunched up here, the nut, 2 turns, you know, that'll do. That could come loose, you know, then you got dramas. That's not what you want. You got a fire extinguisher, you got a fire blanket.
Yes.
That's good, okay. But, yeah, not acceptable in we'll call it just my opinion if you like. For reliability, longevity, right, you got heat, you got hot pipes, you got positive wires, see all that red, so you have got a fuse there, but there's a wire each side of it, so only one side is going to be protected, if you know what I mean, I believe. all that stuff hanging there, whether it's wires, whatever can rub through, the wires themselves, the vacuum lines, the top plastic on the Ezy-Jak valve from that vibration, right? So this is the part vibrating, but it's going like that. It can wear through the plastic on top of the valve.
Which it already has, well, you
Yep.
see it's worn through.
We've seen cars come into the workshop and I often see some fire damage and I ask, you know, hey, was there a fire here, what happened? And they said, yeah. And it's the usual thing, sort of wires hanging around like that, gets on things that are hot heater hoses, hot engines, and shorts out, and that's how car fires happen.
I've got a bit of homework to do when I get back.
Lots of videos to watch, right? So this radiator got replaced not that long ago.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it again for anyone that might be watching your channel.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry about this. But you know I say it how it is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So people, if you don't like it raw and how it is, I'll say it as nice as I can, but it's what it is. I'm not saying, hey, you're an idiot, you know, whatever. People just don't know. People haven't thought about it. And people that work on cars in workshops, they should know better than to do stuff like this. And what happens in a situation, this has been added, the next thing's been added, the winch got added, you know what I mean, the next accessory, and it just got stacked up. Where if you start from scratch with a vehicle that's clean and you go, okay, well, what are we going to have on this? We're going to have a compressor, we're going to have a winch, we want some power to run into the cabin, and that's where I've got playlists on my channels called things like battery, fridge, solar, talking about wiring options and USB outlets in the car, where to run the wires, you know, connect your UHF direct to your second battery so you don't get any of that interference and reset every time you start the car, and all that sort of stuff. It talks about these hose clamps. I like the genuine original hose clamps, not these, I call these the old Holden Ford style. See this, all of these, you've got them there, there's another one over here. They can be over tightened, they can cut into the hoses. The Toyota design of the self-tensioning clamps works well, like this, see? They never leak, it's just a clamp, it's automatic tension. You never need to replace them unless someone's damaged them because they don't need to use them. Same here, right, no leaks, never any issues. Same over here. These T-pieces can become an issue. There's a few people starting to see that, so keep an eye on yours. They're plastic, just buy a new one from Toyota. We've never seen one broken or had to replace one. Don't edit that out.
Okay. I won't.
Because that's, when I'm around, it's raw, mate. It's private. I don't need to be on. I don't need to be famous. It's just. So look, I could go on, but I'm not here to do a vehicle inspection. We do that in the Prado Hospital in Melbourne. It'll cost you some money. You can hang around for an hour and a half, look over the vehicle, give you an idea of this sort of thing, put a video together that goes for about 10 minutes, so that when you leave, oh, hang on a minute, what was this, what was that? Well, it's just too hard and I can't write all that down. I mean, has anyone taken notes from the words spoken so far? You'd be pages and pages of it, you know? And that's where videos are good, because we can demonstrate and go over it. And that's where it's good to watch the videos in the playlists, because we've done this on hundreds of cars. And you watch the videos and you can get familiar with what's acceptable and what's not, what the things we pick on. And some people might go, oh, you know, you're just picking on everyone's car. Well, do you want it reliable or not? If you want to risk it for the biscuit, then do whatever you want. No need to follow my info, but if you want to keep it reliable, come over and have a look at the other engine bay over there again, and bada bing, bada boom, baby.
So one question.
Yep.
While I've got you standing there. So all this here, I think you did mention it before, but just for the folks watching, so one of the ways to run it should be down here and across there.
That's it, you can run it.
So that's
underneath this support panel here.
Yep.
Right, so once you get the cover off, you'll see where the stock wiring limb goes in behind there. You can tuck it in neatly, cable tight. You can get it all in one big, thick corrugated split tubing, you know, this sort of stuff to protect it. You get a bit of warmth through there from the radiator, but nothing like what you're going to get up there. And it's not against the radiator, it's important you secure it where it's meant to be. Just think about heat and wires, but this does protect it a lot. You can run a wire across the back there. I prefer to only have one. And if you look, it's very difficult to see at the moment, but that big fat stock wiring loom that's hidden behind there.
Yep.
You can generally, when these aren't there and zip tied holding that one up, you can get one in between, a smaller one, about say a 10 or probably a 13 mil even, in behind there. So if you've got it 2 or 3 wires that will run across, you can get it all in one, and it's just super neat like factory. I don't think I've got one in this vehicle, but let's go over to this one again.
Okay, all right.
So this one you can see, along
This
the
is
back there.
Anthony's,
See this big
Prado?
space here?
Yep.
Massive. You could run a big one across there, zip tie that. It's up above, up in behind there. Right, so right up in behind there, you know, push that down a little bit to squeeze it in. You know, a bit of, you can go like that to get it in there, whatever. Or if you want, I wouldn't run it underneath. But my wires run across underneath the front here, right, to cross over for the dual battery setup, comes across. You can actually see the wiring. That's the wiring loom there and the split tubing. You can actually see here where a few wires come through, so come around this side. So that's the factory one.
Yep.
That's me with the compressor, I think. That's the one going to the back, and this is something else. Out of these two, compressor and whatever anyway. So, and they run with the factory wiring looms across here. If Toyota put it there, it's good to go. But this previously here, this is a good example. Let's get right in close on this plug here, and if you can see that. But when this vehicle was acquired, it was my dad's car. There was wiring at some point hanging across there, and you can see the vibration. I'm talking. It's taken the corner out of the valve there, and it's taken all this out of that plug there. How well you can see that, but got removed. That's what it's all about.
Nice clean corner, that's another story.
Yeah, that's it. Right, let's wrap it up, mate. Let's
All right, thanks for that, mate. What do you
Let's
say
go.
at the end?
Well, is this the end of a video, or is this just, who knows?
Bada bing.
Well, bada bing, bada boom, all right?
Maybe, okay.
No, different.
You. So, look, I've got no issues with Anthony letting me know what's going on with the car, because if he doesn't let me know, well, who's going to? And yeah, so it's just good, you know, having a bit of a look at the cars. And I'm pretty grateful, actually, that he's gave me a bit of homework to do when I get home. I'd rather be safe than sorry, and it's good to be told, isn't it? Just to be told straight. He doesn't muck around, so I'm happy for him to let me know, because I wouldn't have known, really. I mean, I knew it wasn't the best looking wiring setup that I've got, and I knew I probably had a few little failings in there. So thanks, Anthony. And if you want information about the Prado, well, it probably applies to any car really. Make sure you jump over to his channel, 4x4 Diesel. And if you want to see any adventures he's been on, 4x4 Adventure. Yeah, wealth of knowledge. Yeah, just make sure you head on over there and.
The dog's still sitting there, keeping on, everyone. Love it.
That's it. So anyway, thanks for watching this episode, just a short one. Hopefully it's helped you out, and help out Anthony, and head on over to his channel as well. Thanks guys, Prado 150 out of here. Out of here!